Okay, good morning everyone. So in the last tutorial, we have already created two different types of clickable actors. So one, it will automatically go back to the original status if you don't click that one. Another one is that with the double click, then you can turn the object go back to the default setting. But for the next step we are going to do, it will be like this. We will use a bit manager to control which object that we can click. And then once we click, it can be turned bigger. And if we don't click anymore, it will go back. So which means that for the clickable actor, we will use in this blueprint to control the geometry scale and also material. And for the bit manager, we will use in this one to control what time that you can click. So that's the idea. Okay? So let's double click. If you don't remember how to create the blueprint class, just remember right click, choosing blueprint class and choosing actor. And name your blueprint actor just like mine so that you can follow our tutorial without confusions. Okay, let's double click. So this is the finished one. Actually, this one is a little bit complicated. So please follow my operation. Try to follow the idea. So for this script, actually there are two different parts. The first part is about the timer. We use this one to control how long the object is going to be changed, or how long will be one turn for change the color. So if you want to make a turn-based game, you can also take a look about the setting right here. Another one is about to call the activate and deactivate on another blueprint, which means in the clickable actor. So basically this one is for communication between the different blueprint class. And this one is for control the timing. So this is the major function. This is for communication. And inside Unreal, because all the object can be an object-oriented script. So when we are working on our programming stuff, you have to carefully remember which part is going to be code, or which part is going to be the major things for this program. So in this case, this one is for communication. We are going to use this one to activate the code on the other blueprint. And this one will be the major part. Okay, anyway, let's get started. So first things we have to create two different type of variable. Let's redo that again, okay? So the first one is bit interval. Let's just click here and type in the name bit interval. You can call that 2. And for the type, we have to choose float. So that's the first one. And the second one is clickable actor. This one is very important, and you can see the variable type is different from the things we have done before. So again, click here and call this one clickable actor 2. And for this one, we have to choose the type as the blueprint class that we want to use. So which means that we are going to use BP clickable actor as the references model. So let's go to here. Let's go to this section and go to find BP clickable actor. The first one, that's the one we are going to use. For the rest, that's a different type. So let's choose this one. And the one we are going to use basically will be the first one, the original one. That click 1 and the color will be changed. Click 2, the color will go back to the default status. That's the one we are going to use. So please choose this one. object references, and you can turn on the little eye so that when we are going to using that in the scene editor, which means here, it will show up. Okay, let's go back to here. So for this variable, we have to change the variable type, not only BP clickable references, but also change this one to array. So once you finish, compile and save. Now let's keep moving forward. So for this part, since every blueprint class can only have one event begin play, so I have to uncheck that. So follow my operation, okay? So for the next one, the first things we have to do is to get all actor of class. For these functions, we are going to call all the clickable actors inside your game scene. So let's go to find this one. Get all actor of class. And right here, you have to choose the right one, so which means the BP clickable actor. That's the one we are going to use. Okay. So now, since we have already put the BP clickable actor here, so right now the output actor, we can use this one. Just choose this clickable actor 2 and choose set clickable actor. Not the get, but set. So connect them together. Alright. So now we can using these functions to reset the status of clickable actor 2s. Let's keep moving forward. The next part, that's the most important part, set timer by function name. This one. Okay? So, we're going to create a function that can help us to do the time control. So that's the things. And for that part, basically it will be right here. It's an event. So I will create a new one. So show you how to do that. Let's call this one on beat 2. And for the timing, then we can just simply using the beat interval 2 to do that. So that's just choosing get because that's the number we can define by ourselves. So if you type in 1, which means 1 sec per 1 second, the color, the target will be changed 1 times. Then if you type in 2 and then 2 seconds, the object will be changed for 1 time. Alright, anyway, that's the things. So for the last part, print string is very simple. It's just for testing whether whether this script is right or not. So you can do that, print string. And usually I prefer to do this to change the in-string part so that we know right now what that means. Timer work. So let's say timer work. So if it works, then on your screen right here it will show timer work. Okay. And if you want, you can also change the color, probably into some green color. It means okay, it works. Alright, so basically exactly like the following things I have done before, I will move this part to here. So now we have finished the first part about the timer setting. The next things we are going to do is to define the onBeat queues custom event, because based on these events, what time will it happen and how long will it is, well, our timer will be set. So now let's create this one. Let's right click on the empty area, choose add custom event, and call this one on beat 2. Okay, so now we have. So for the following part, you can just simply follow my operation right here. So because we are going to make a loop for this operation, it's gonna be recycled and remake for every second or every 2 seconds. So we have to make for each loop. Right now, it's really similar to coding, right? for each loop. That's the things we're going to use. And what's the things we're going to use for loop? Well, it will be this one, clickable actor. So I will redo that, clickable actor 2. Connect to here. Okay, connect to here. Let me drag, connect to here. So the next things we have to define we have to define how long for because if we just keep receiving the data from the clickable actors, this one is the data of this one is from the BP clickable actor, right? So if we just keep receiving the data from the BP clickable actor, Unreal will crash because for every microsecond it will transmit probably for 10 times, 20 times, and even more. So in that case, Unreal will crash. So we have to define the range and also the length, and using that one as the condition to define when we are going to activate inside clickable actor and deactivate situation. So that's the things we're going to do. Okay, so now anyway, since right now we already connect the clickable actor to here, so for this part we can just directly call deactivate this one, not that one. Okay, so basically for this operation we call that communication, or you can say call function. We call the functions from clickable actor is right here to this blueprint. Okay, let's save. So now we have already successfully coded this one to this part. So next thing is we have to define what kind of situation the deactivate will be executed. So we have to use in length. So let's just directly drag and find length here. Okay, and then we can use in a greater function to define the situations. So now we have this. Once this one is greater than 0, and then the branch condition will work. Let's go to find branch. And for the executing point, make sure you have connect them. So for the next part, well, basically once this one is false, then it will active. Basically, it means that the deactivate is working. So let's try to print the string. It can say okay, deactivate worked. So probably let's change the color to red so that you can read better. So how about the activate part? So for the activate part, it's pretty much the same, but again, we have to define a range to define when the activate is going to work. So for this part, let's try to do that. Let's choosing get a copy right here. Okay, get a copy, and then take a look about this one. For this part, we are going to use the length again, and using subtract and define the render integer in range. So let's try to do that. Okay, probably let's just directly try where it is. Okay, here, subtract. Sorry, misspelling. Sometimes it's a little bit annoying. Alright, so for the length, let's just connect to here. Right? Connect to here. And for this part, let's type in 1. The next one will be random integer in range. This one. And for the next number, let's just simply choose get. Sorry. For this part, we have to do, wait for a second. Okay, this is the max one, and this is the minimum one. Alright, good. Okay, cool. So this is pretty much done. So the final thing is just using this return value to define the get one. You can double click on the line so that you use this way to organize your script. And also you can use this one as a temporary node to separate your single. Probably this way will look more organized. Okay, so pretty much done. The last thing is let's take a look. So basically now we are going to use this one as our target and activate our function in the clickable actor right here, this one. So let's try to do that. Let's see whether we can call the activate or not. Okay, it's right here. And make sure you're choosing the right one because right now we have two blueprints inside. So I want to choose the first one. Okay, it works. Okay, perfect. And the executing situation will be true. And of course we can copy the print string here and change the color to blue. Okay, compile and save. So it seems like right now this one has been done. So basically if the script can successfully work, we can use this script to call the functions of activate and deactivate. Let's right click and you can use choosing create command from selection and make this one become a group. So let's call that one call from clickable actor. So that's the one that we are going to using for calling the functions. Okay, and this is the one we are going to use for set timing. Again, right click. Okay, so that's it. Right now we have successfully finished the BP Beat Manager. Let's compile and save. So for the next part, we are going to change a little bit about the clickable actor. That will be the next things. Let's take a look. That's the final result. So now please turn on the BP clickable actor. There are some minor change, so I won't lead you guys to review this one. Basically, it's just about to rewire the connection between the component. So first things, let's take a look about the first part, unclick it, static mesh. So for this part, it's pretty much the same. We're still using B is active to control the branch conditions. When also the B is active, the default setting value is still false. Okay, so right here, let's take a look. So for the false condition, we won't do anything, it just directly show miss. And for the true condition, then we will just directly show hit. So that's it. Now let's take a look about the activate and the deactivate part. For the deactivate part, nothing special. You can just keep the setting like the things we have done before. The only thing is that for the B is active setting, make sure this one the default set is false. And for the activate part, make sure this one, the default setting, is true. And also, I have already removed all the rest of things, including the enlarger, scaling, that kind of stuff. The only things we will do is change the color. So I still put the material right here. But please remember, for this one, it's just for showing which one you are going to click. So I create a new material click. You can just simply click this one and right click, choosing duplicate, and then change the name and change the new material. Right now the things I choose will be blue color. So that's it. So right now for the activate and deactivate, they are not in charge of for the activate, it's not in charge of scaling anymore. It just show the target color. And for the deactivate, pretty much the same. It still control the object and reset them to the default set once you don't click them. Now let's take a look. So how can we enlarge the scenes? I create a new custom event to help us to enlarge the object. So once we see, okay, this object, this clickable actor has been activated, then we can start to click the object. And once we click, it will show you hit and also activate the hit custom event. So I think I don't have to re-mention how to create a custom event. You can just right click on empty area, choosing add custom event and rename it. So that's it. It will show up on the event graphic. So you can see that right now the hit custom events right here. So the next thing is we can just simply use the custom event to activate the enlarging, scaling, and also material set. So the idea will be like this: using this event to activate scaling and also the material setting. And for the scaling, we have to get the geometry size first. So you have to drag the geometry, this one, to here, and get the word scale and define how much you want to how much you want to turn this one, probably 1.1 times bigger or even more. And finally reset the material. So basically with one click we will change from the material click to material active. So that's the things. Okay, so once we finish choosing compile and save, we can go back to the 3D view. So make sure, probably I have to delete all of them. And let's just put some of the BP clickable actor to our game scene. And you can hold on your Alt key, copy a couple more. Okay, so we have 5. And right here, you have to put a BP bit manager inside. Okay. And for the BP bit managers, let's take a look. For the BP manager, we can define how many target objects we want to put. So for example, click for actor 2, you can click probably 4 and save. Alright, so now let's go back to your game scene and choosing the bit manager. Go to find the clickable actor. So now we have, okay, I think probably I accidentally created too much. Let's delete. So for this one, it's just choosing the first one, second one, third one, first one, fifth one. And make sure save before you start. Save all. Alright, so now I think we can start to do the test to test whether our script can work or not. Okay, so now let's play. Let's hit the play button. Okay, so now this 3 is on. So once I successfully click, you can see that it has been turned bigger. Okay, this is pretty fast. Alright, so it's something like that. So this is the prototype that you can try to use. I think for most of you all of you have that kind of rhythm game design in your project. And also some of you have the turn-based idea. So for the turn-based idea, it's a little bit similar to here. We still can using timer for setting your turn. And also once your game finished, then call the functions from your another blueprint like this one and restart the setting of the time. So that can be a way to do the round-based game. So that's the things. Please try to make this one. Using this one as the prototype and build up your idea on this symbol or script.